Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded NBA offseason report. I am your host, Eric, the big dog in the house tonight. Kenny, how are you?
Good.
I mean, it's been kind of crazy season. Denver Nuggets obviously winning it. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, great. They deserved it. They deserved it.
I
They
think
really
Jokic
deserved it.
proved right. He's probably the king of the NBA currently. I
Yep,
think
yep,
most people out there can agree with that.
yep.
If you didn't watch much of the series or the playoffs because
Yeah,
the
right.
man
Yeah,
dominated. The man was just a walking
yeah.
triple double
Yes,
throughout. And if you
yes.
look at what Jamal Murray did, your thoughts on a lot of people talking about a possible dynasty, obviously the repeat possibilities. Do you think this could be a dynasty in the making with Denver?
If they could stay together, if they keep that core together, wow, they could. Maybe they could two, three, four, five.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Calm down, LeBron over
Uh,
there. Breaking out your inner LeBron James on that one.
yes.
So who's the key though? So obviously Jokic, Murray, but who's the third guy that you think they need to keep? Is it Porter? Would it be Aaron Gordon? Who would be that third guy that's going to be important for them to keep for this dynasty? If they had to lose one, which one should they ensure they keep?
Porter.
Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. They need to keep him because he's still young and he's still got a lot to prove. He is
All right.
he is approved so much.
Yeah, listen, he stayed healthy, and you
Yep.
see when they stay healthy, Jamal Murray finally healthy after a couple years where, his knee and all those issues he had. Look, good coach Mike Malone. I think he's done a very good job with that team throughout the last couple of years. Anyway, so they
Mm-hmm.
were right on the cusp. Everything worked out perfectly for them. What about Miami? I mean, before we get into, we're going to talk about NBA trades today that
Mm-hmm.
have already happened. Maybe some rumors of some things we've heard, some draft steals that NBA draft was just less than a week ago, and then some free agents that are out there and what we think might happen with them. But Miami obviously fell short, but a remarkable run. You think about it, eighth seed and what they were able to do. Can they build on this? Or, I mean, do they need to make some moves?
Yeah, they need to make some moves. They really do make some moves. First of all, they need to get a point guard, and they say Dame Lillard. Oh, I hope not, because that
Wow.
would that would be a great backcourt.
Wow.
Dame,
Okay.
Butler, Adebayo. Oh, the big three. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Fans out there
uh,
seem to like it. We're getting a little
yeah,
applause there.
yeah, yeah.
Does Dame move, though? A lot of talk that Portland pretty much halted all talks about Dame Lillard. Do you think that was just more of them saying, look, right now at this point, we're not moving Dame, or they're looking for the best possible deal?
Oh, they're looking for the best possible deal. They had a good draft. They traded that good point guard, and why just he's a very good point guard, very good point guard. So why let him sit? Yeah, they're gonna they're
You,
shopping.
you
Yeah,
think it's a done deal? A
yeah,
done
it's a done
deal.
deal.
All right.
Yeah, done deal.
All right. So that was the NBA Finals. Obviously, Denver winning it. They are the current champions, but a lot has happened since those NBA Finals, Kenny. We're going to start off with these NBA trades and some trades that have happened. We need to talk first and foremost about our
Mm-hmm.
Boston Celtics. Chris
Mm-hmm.
Tapp, Porzingis to
Yeah.
Boston for Marcus Smart. Memphis sending Tyus Jones and Gallinari from Boston going to Washington.
Yep.
Your thoughts on this trade?
Oh, at first I didn't like it because Marcus Smart is the heart and soul of the Boston Celtics. At first, I said, "Wait, what are they doing?" Because at first it's supposed to be um, my mind's going blank now.
You
Brogdon.
back, your boy, your backup
Yeah,
point guard.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And the NBA has a problem with messing with stuff that's good. Why mess with stuff that's good? If he comes off the bench, let him continue to come off the bench because he was outstanding off the bench. The 4 games he started, he didn't play well at all. So why mess with chemistry? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought I was like, oh, why are we doing that? And then Marcus Smart, I'm like, why are we doing that? But this might be good.
I see. If you watch Sports Unfolded on Friday
I did.
with Ron,
I did.
I talked myself into loving this deal. I love this deal. The more I think about it, I love this deal. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why, Kenny. And I'm not trying to steal your thunder here, but I think I may steal a little bit of your thunder.
Go ahead.
First of all, you talk about chemistry.
Yep.
That team has fallen short for how many years? Everybody talks about the heart and soul, Marcus Smart. He's the fire. He's the guy that gets them going, ignited. That didn't win them a championship. So losing him ultimately puts the pressure now on Tatum and Brown to become leaders of this team. It is their team now. There is no third guy. There is no guy that's been there for 9 years and basically, was a top 10 pick, and we have to default to him and listen to him, and he's the guy when he is not even the third best player on the team.
Yeah.
So I think that was a plus. Secondly, we've complained for years now that they haven't had a body that can get into the paint, do some things that can create some mismatches, but still can hit an outside shot, still is a great deep perimeter shot maker if they need it. And he's over 85% last season in free throws. So he gets to the line. He averaged over 23 points last season for the Washington Wizards. I think, to me, this move makes Boston an even bigger contender than they were a year ago. And, Kenny, who's your starting point guard now? Derek White. And people, you can listen, he was the key reason they were in these playoff games. He has the ability, and he doesn't need a lot of shots. He doesn't need the ball consistently in taking 20 plus shots a game. He's satisfied with 10 plus shots a game. He'll make 5 of those 10, but now this gives Tatum his touches, Brown his touches, and Porzingis their touches. Not like a Marcus Smart who decided he's going to chuck up 16 threes in a game and make 2 of them. I like it. I like the move.
Well, hopefully Derek White will not be our point guard, but we need to keep him. I hope not. I hope we get, a good veteran point guard. But at the same time, you are correct. But the question is, does Al Horford stay or does he retire? And if he stays, this will give him more minutes to rest during the season.
Agreed. Listen, you could see how tired he was at the end of the year.
Yeah, he was fatigued. And Porzingis is coming to what? The second best point guard 3-point team in the league. And he can also spread the floor.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they give up Gallinari.
That was a weird one.
It was an investment that went wrong. He just came here to rehab and just didn't leave.
Yeah.
Now he's better than he was last year because he got rehab. The Celtics invested that money, and now he's gone. So
I will say this too, though, with the Porzingis thing. Austin, thanks for joining here. I will say, rather have Marcus Smart. He was great on defense. Listen, and I agree. Like everybody, but as a Boston Celtics fan, you have to take the emotion out of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Even as the defensive player of the year last year, he took a step back this year. He wasn't the same defensive player he was. That was more of the title, and people were so enamored by that I think as Boston Celtics fans, like, you can't get rid of Marcus Smart. What has Marcus Smart won in his career? Before Tatum.
Yeah.
With Tatum, with Jaylen Brown at probably his peak performance now. There's still an Eastern Conference final team to possibly a conference final or a championship team that can't win it in the championship, though.
Right.
That's what Marcus Smart brings you. And at the end of the day, Derek White, I know you laugh, but he's also a very good defender.
He's a good defender.
NBA all defense. So he gives you some defense as well. I think everybody's sleeping on this move. This gives Derek White an opportunity to to show what he's capable of as well, because you saw it in the playoffs. There were points in times where he was extremely better than Marcus Smart.
Yeah, true.
So I just think that you got to look at from the standpoint. To me, this move helps Boston in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Kenny. I think this makes Jason Tatum finally have to become the alpha. We need that. You're never going to win a championship without him being the alpha. It's his voice now. It's his team. Yes, Jaylen Brown, if he stays, which, again, we can discuss if you like. But that, to me, is the biggest piece of this whole thing now. You took away the one guy that took Tatum's voice away. It's Tatum's team. If he's a legit superstar, we're going to find out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard that as well.
Don't say that.
But if you got Porzingis at this point, do you make that move? Like it wouldn't make sense at that point. You got too many big men, and what do you do? And then you still got Rob Williams, who, again, if he's healthy, and if Horford comes back, I don't think they could pull that off. If they're going to make a move at this point, Austin, it's got to be for a guard.
Yeah.
It's a point guard.
Yeah.
It's a guy that can distribute and get the ball. That's the only thing I think makes sense. They don't need a big man. They don't need size. They got that with Porzingis now.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's a great point. I mean, I have heard it, but I think Ayton's been moving it everywhere.
Yeah.
I think poor Ayton at this point. What about the Jaylen Brown situation? Does he sign the Supermax? Is he staying in Boston?
Yeah, he's staying in Boston. He's staying in Boston. Tatum will let him leave.
You think Tatum makes that call for him?
Yeah, Tatum's like, yo, you got to stay. You can't leave me, Marcus. They already got Marcus, dude. There's no way, because there's no way. I don't think they can win without him. Them two apart, I don't think they can win.
And I made this comparison on Friday, Kenny, and you let me know if you agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Jason Tatum's Michael Jordan. Please do not. I would never put him in that class. I put Michael Jordan in his own class and then as pretty much everybody else. I know how you feel. But regardless, what I will say is this. Michael Jordan wouldn't be Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen.
True.
To me, Jaylen Brown is Tatum's Scottie Pippen. He's that second guy that is just good enough to possibly be a number one.
Yeah.
But isn't a true number one. We saw what happened when Scottie got the team on his own and inherited. It didn't go well.
Didn't go well at all.
It didn't go well. And then even when he went to other teams afterwards, it didn't go well.
No.
And I feel like that's what'll happen with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown decides, hey, I don't want to sign this day. I want to be the number one guy. I don't think he's a true number one. I think he's a very good player, but not a true number one. He's not a superstar. He is that notch below.
Yeah.
And with Tatum, it makes him better. So I agree with you. I think he, unless egos really get in the way, he stays.
Yeah.
But then Boston's window closes quicker because now you don't have as much money to play around with afterwards to get another guy.
Exactly.
So next year has to be the year because otherwise they may not have that window after that.
Yeah. After that, they're done. I'm sorry to say.
So that it'll be fun to see. A couple of other trades that have happened. This one just recently, John Collins to Utah for Rudy Gay. He went to Atlanta. We know Gay's kind of that travel. You know, he's been around now for a while. This John Collins thing, I like Collins. I don't know if he's a piece without, you know what I mean, Trae Young and that lob and what they were able to do and in some of that pick and roll situation. Collins isn't a bad player, though. Does this not make Utah a little better? Like they're starting to move in the right direction. Danny Ainge starting to get some guys in there that could possibly be.
Yeah. You know, it's going to be a little bit better, but it's a long season. Free agency starts Friday, 6 p.m. So, and don't get me wrong, Danny is a genius when it comes to picks. And sometimes he's not good at picks, you know? But we shall see. We'll see if Danny can pull off what he did for us in 2008.
Oh, Rick, thanks for joining. Nothing good ever happens in Utah. Rick, I disagree with you, my friend, because if you want, you can marry as many women as you want in
Yeah,
Utah.
exactly.
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I mean, it could be a nothing good, but it could be a good thing too. There we go. There he is. Rick know where I was going.
Yeah,
Right?
Rick.
While
Yes.
that dunking. What are they dunking, Rick? That's the question.
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh
Okay.
my goodness. That in Utah. Oof. Listen.
Okay.
Listen. This show's going to take a direction right now,
Yeah,
especially
right.
with my man Rick on. Because
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Rick, you
Yeah,
know
I
how
know,
he
Rick.
gets.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know, little macho man coming in right now.
Oh yeah.
Woo, let's go. That's Ric Flair. That is
Definitely
Ric
not.
Flair.
Definitely not donuts.
You are correct, sir.
Yes.
They are dunking it in different, all the time, but not
Mhm.
donuts. I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
That is my man, Rick.
Yeah,
Rick, thank you for joining as well.
Great.
What about this Chris Paul situation? So there was another trade there. Chris Paul originally sent to Washington for Bradley Beal. Beal to Phoenix. You like that move?
Beal to Phoenix? Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. Yes, I like it because it gives
Right
the
back at
team
you, Rick.
it gives the team more scoring. But it's like Ron said, the ball can't get around quick enough. The ball can't get around quick enough. Who takes the last shot?
I would ask you this: who's passing the ball to them?
Yeah.
That might be a bigger issue. Who's
Yeah,
handling the
yeah,
rock now all the time?
yeah. That might
Does
be,
does does Durant become your point forward, and
Mm.
that kind of hurts him?
Yeah,
Because
I
right,
really,
that's more minutes, that's more
yeah,
wear and
yeah,
tear on him, and more
yeah,
expectations.
yep.
Booker's not a point guard. I mean,
Nope.
he's a better as a off the ball shooter. You know what I mean? In
Yep.
motion, and Bradley Beal's not a point guard either.
No, he's not a point guard.
I don't know if this is a good move for Phoenix.
I don't know. Beal has to get better on defense. His defense last year was terrible. He has to get better on defense.
None of those guys really play. I mean, Durant to an extent,
right?
But after that, Booker doesn't play defense. And then you're talking to Austin's point, if they get rid of Ayton, he's probably the only guy that plays defense.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so
right?
how does that make sense for them?
Yeah, and then before they made this trade, 7 players, okay, 7 players in the NBA is going to make over $50 million, and the Phoenix Suns has 3 of them.
That's some good numbers for them, huh?
Ooh, Bradley Beal, $208 million 4 years. Booker, $260 million for 5 years, and Kevin, $154 million for 3 years.
Ridiculous. I don't know what Phoenix is doing. And I didn't like the move Frank Vogel.
Yeah.
I don't like that move either.
Me neither.
So I just think that, listen,
Me neither.
Kevin Durant said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on the West Coast. There's some nice weather. It's a little hot, but it's not as humid.
Yeah.
And the rest of my career, man, I'm just going to chill out here in the desert.
Right.
Have a good time. Because there's no way he goes there knowing that you're going to basically disband this team at some point and just, you know what I mean, try to plug and play with other guys.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Me neither.
And I think that honestly, Washington made out on this. They got rid of that contract. They got rid of the Porzingis contract. They'll get younger. They'll build around some guys. We'll see. We'll see what Washington does. But Washington then in turn takes Chris Paul and sends him to Golden State for Jordan Poole. So when we talk about getting young, again, Jordan Poole, 24, championship caliber. He's been there. He's won some championships. He's hit some big shots. Us as Boston Celtics fans, we remember those, like, you know what I mean? 30-foot shots going in, right? When we thought. So I will ask you this, Kenny. Which team made out in this deal?
Ooh, that's tough.
I don't think it's tough at all.
Uh,
And I'm going to tell you why, Kenny.
Why? Tell me why.
Chris Paul,
Oh, okay.
one of the slowest
Yeah.
moving guards in the league now. If
Mhm.
you look at what Golden State's offense is, think about how many times you try to watch Steph Curry during a game. And it's like watching a ping pong ball in this machine just go. You're like, okay, no, yeah, what? Oh. Chris Paul ain't running that offense.
No.
You can't put them on the court at the same time.
Mm-mm. No.
So to me, he doesn't fit at all here. This is a move to free up money to sign Draymond, because then Chris Paul's off the books next year. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because if it's to improve your team, they absolutely didn't do that.
No, they didn't do that. No.
So to me, go ahead.
This team is way too slow for Chris Paul. Way too slow. This is a run and gun team. They're still young, okay? All right. Unless they trade Clay. Well, that's impossible. They're not going to trade Clay. They're not going to get rid of Clay. They're not going to
get rid
trade
of the
Clay.
Splash Brothers.
Exactly. So it doesn't even work if he comes off the bench. It doesn't even work if he comes off the bench. In the later year, he is third in all-time assists and steals. Okay, all right. Future Hall of Famer, one of the best point guard in NBA history.
100% agree.
100%. But through the injuries, through the missing games, at the end of the season, he averaged 4.6 turnovers a game. We're talking about Chris Paul here. 4.6 turnovers a game? That's not Chris Paul. So through injuries and through getting old and bumps and bruises and running up and down that court, it's like you said, it's a salary dump.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to.
Yeah. And I would say that, Rick, they need to match. So what they're doing is they actually hired the guy that did Dungeons and Dragons. And, they're going to throw some dice and see how that all works out for them. But I'm feeling pretty good about, depending on what spells they get, I feel like they've got a shot here. Yeah. But, Kenny, back to this Chris Paul thing, man. I am telling you that I think it ruined the rest of his career. Yeah. Because he probably had a year or two left anyway. Yeah. And now you go to a team that basically you can't even use. Yeah. As just like, you're like, oh, championship it's not for him.
No.
Oh boy, look at this one. Oh, Kenny would probably be happy about this one. Yeah, he wasn't Michael anymore when he was there. That's for sure. Yeah. Nobody was singing "I Want to Be Like Mike" when he was with the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, not at all.
No, I agree with that one, Rick. I agree with that one. Nope. I 100% agree with that one. I will, Kenny. Look, Washington made out on this deal. To me, they got a guy that they can build a team around, and he's going to contribute. He's not a guy that's going to score 30 points a game, but he's a guy that definitely can put the ball in the basket and make some plays, and honestly can teach some of these young kids how to win. He's done it. He's won a championship. He's got a ring. Kenny.
Yeah.
And
you're right. Yeah.
Sometimes you can't question that, because that mentality of how they got there, and you can say it's the most difficult thing to do in any sport is to win a championship, because it's not just physical. Sometimes you might be the most physical gifted team, right? We talked about it, right? Or you have the better players, but sometimes being mentally tough makes a difference. And if he can teach some of these young kids how to win and what it takes to be a championship caliber team, that's where it gets interesting. But I will ask you this, Kenny. We heard Cameron. We heard what he said to Draymond.
Yeah.
He can't say that. He can't say that to people in Washington and not expect to get his clock wrong again.
Gilbert Arenas, thank God.
I don't know if people out there have heard this, Kenny. You want to fill them in on what some of the things he said? Do you remember?
We got a family show here. I I can't be. We got a family show here.
I will say, I think what was the one about the free agent, the money, and he was like, "That was your last chance to get paid, and you blew it or something." And I'm just like, "Bro, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?" That's when the money gets to your head a little bit because you start thinking you're better than you are too. And
Exactly.
I mean, he's a good player. I'm not going to say he's
good
not,
player.
but I'm not.
You know.
So that was some.
But you know what? Scalabrine got a ring.
Scal got a ring too. I'm not saying
Darko got a ring.
All right, wait a minute.
And they didn't even use Darko. So Jordan Poole, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. But this money got to his head. He got his bag, and then he want to chirp. What happened? He got knocked out.
Yeah, I agree.
So therefore, he needs to get his situation straight and be like, you know what? Let's just calm down.
No swear jars on this show. You are correct, sir. So you owe us one for that emoji. So I expect you to put some money in. Okay, Rick? I want some money in that swear jar, my friend. Okay. We know what that emoji means. We know. So, Kenny, before we move on, those were some of the big trades that have happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rumor trade out there. And then you had broke it to me the other day. I don't know where you saw it, but you heard something about a Clipper possibly going to the Knicks. You want to discuss that real quick?
Yeah. Sources said to me, one of the Clippers.
There it is, Ken. We got paid, my friend. We got paid.
Yes.
We might not be sending stars of bits, but we got a money bag. That's probably even better.
Right. Got the bag. Got the bag.
Bag, baby.
So, Paul George for J.R. Barrett to the Knicks.
R.J. Barrett.
R.J. Barrett.
J.R. got shot in Dallas.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And not the Mavericks.
Okay. Yeah, not the Mavericks.
That's an old reference for you guys out there.
Yeah, right.
Like 40 years old. You're not going to get
exactly. Yeah. So I think it might be a.
I don't know if I like this move. Paul George, who's often injured, for a young and upcoming guy like RJ Barrett. I'm not saying Barrett's a superstar, but you can't tell me there's a major gap between him and Paul George right now based on the injury concerns.
Yeah, there is. But I'd rather keep Paul George than Kawhi.
Agreed, too. Like, if you can make a move to get Kawhi out of LA, and I'm not saying still do the Barrett deal for Kawhi. I wouldn't do that either. If the Clippers are smart, try to get rid of Kawhi, keep Paul George. I get that. I don't see how the Knicks benefit from getting rid of a young talent like RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
And getting a guy that you're not even sure is going to give you 50 games.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that benefit you? Where Barrett's going to give you 82 games.
Yeah.
And he's up and coming. Like you saw some things. He's not great, but he's getting better, and you saw it. And he's still a 15 to 20 point a night guy. He can get that, right?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I think it's a mistake, but I don't run the Knicks, so I don't care what they do. It helps Boston in some way. No offense, Knicks fans, but us in Beantown, baby. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
So, Kenny, there was some draft steals that you wanted to discuss as well. Yeah. And I will let you start us off and let me know, who do you think made out the best in some of these drafts? The NBA draft was Thursday? Mm-hmm. So a week ago today, obviously Victor Wembanyama. I think I said his name right. I'm horrible with it.
Yeah.
Number one pick, supposedly going to be the next great thing since LeBron James. And then he had his little pre-shoot around, and it looked horrible. And now everybody's saying he's a bust. This is how quickly things turn in the NBA.
Yeah.
But, I mean, again, he hasn't played in the game yet. Let's give the kid a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's some kids out there that got drafted either later on or got drafted, and you think it's a good move. Who are those guys?
First and foremost, when you're a guy and you could have David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Ginobili to take you to dinner, and you just got drafted, that's when you know you're going to be good. Okay.
They ain't wasting their money.
Okay.
Where'd they take them, though, Kenny? You know what I mean? If they went to Friendlies for some ice cream and that meal, did they take them? You think they took them to a fancy restaurant? You think they got them some, filet mignon or something?
He said all he needs is breakfast tacos. That's what he said. He said
He
all I
needs to
need
put
is
on
bre-"
more weight. I think he
He
needs
said,
more than breakfast tacos.
yeah, he need to eat a lot of breakfast
Yeah,
tacos.
get some protein in you, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right
exactly.
now. He needs to get some muscle.
Eat that chicken. Eat that chicken. Eat all that chicken. Make
Did
that
you
chicken
see the
tacos.
story about they make lab chicken now? They get the
Yeah,
embryos and they create it in
yeah,
a petri dish, and now they can make chicken. Kenny, are you a
yeah.
chicken eater?
Not anymore.
Not after that. You're not
Not
going to
after,
eat that.
not after that. Not after that.
This is not
Not
real
after
chicken.
that. This not real chicken. It's not real chicken.
So give me a couple of these steals, Kenny. Let's see if we kind of saw eye to eye on some of these guys.
The best steal of the draft right now. I got one.
Ooh, one. Okay.
Yeah, I got one, which is the best steal. There's others, but I got one that stands out.
Okay.
Finally, the Celtics got a steal.
Look, get out of here.
I'm telling you right now,
The kid from Arkansas. What was it? Well, go ahead.
Jordan Walsh
Okay.
is going to be the truth.
This is
Okay.
I got to give you one of these. I got to give you one of those.
I'm telling you, I have studied this kid. I have watched highlights. I've replayed games. This guy is gonna be great. The only problem is, goodbye, Grant Williams.
Is that a problem?
Goodbye.
Problem?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
Is that really a problem, though, Kenny?
Yeah. But he plays the same way, but he's more athletic. He plays the same way, but he is more athletic. This is a steal for this Boston Celtics.
Okay, if you say so.
And you know who else had another steal for the first time in history?
Who?
Michael Jordan had a great pick.
You like the kid Miller? Brandon Miller, right?
Oh my goodness. Granted, he had the gun situation. He had.
I like how we just a little gun situation, nothing crazy. I mean, nobody died.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you.
My apologies.
I'm telling you, he did. Michael, you did a great. I know you're watching, Michael Jordan. I know you're watching. You did a great job this time.
I will say, if he is watching, send us some of that cash you're getting from the sale, because
yeah, right.
I mean, we could use a little bit of it. We don't want a lot. We don't want a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe we could get a studio, then me and Kenny in studio versus
exactly.
Doing it this way.
Maybe Nike can sponsor us.
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah, give us a pair of Jordans. I wear size 15.
15, baby. You got big feet, man. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. You know what they you know what they say about guys with big feet. Anyway.
Yeah. Big dreams.
My man.
Dreams.
See, you
big
know
dreams.
where I was going.
Big dreams.
If
big
Rick
dreams.
was on right now, he'd probably go a whole different direction. I will say I got 4, Kenny. I got
4? Okay.
I got 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
First one, Derek Lively II. The big man went to Dallas. Dallas actually dropped down a couple of picks. Still got the guy they wanted. They give themselves a big man that can develop. I like the move. I thought that was a good move for them. They didn't really have a big man that they could count on. To me, to step back in the draft and still be able to get a guy you want, I always consider that a win. At 3, Portland with Scoot Henderson.
Yes.
To me, what was he? The G League Player of the Year.
Yes.
This kid has proven that he can be. He's legitimate. It gives you options now. To your point of moving on.
Yeah.
Dame Lillard, great career in Portland, and Dame Dollar and Dame Dimes and all his other nicknames that he has. I'm not saying that, look, your career is over. What I'm saying to you is now you got an opportunity to really help Portland build around this kid by getting you traded out to get some pieces to help him. I love that move because I thought, to me, this finally says, look, Portland, I think we're done. We love him. He's done so much for us, but we have to move on versus just every year the same thing. Almost get to the playoffs, don't make the playoffs. Let's try it again. Let's change that narrative. Houston, our boy Ime is doing some work down there in the Rockets. Cam Whitmore was projected to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
He had some injury concerns, dropped down. They get him at 20. again, if this kid materializes, he's got himself, and we know what Ime Aduka can do with young talent and how he can start to build those guys up. It's always been one of his stronger qualities. That could be a big steal. That would be a kid that you keep your eye on the radar on that one.
Yep, you're right.
Last one I had,
Mhm.
Kenny, I did not, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't have the kid that got drafted for balls. I'm sorry. But I agree with you. I hope you're right. I mean, but Grant Williams, and you're saying he's better than Grant Williams. That's like saying, you know what I mean? You know, Ron's better than me. I don't believe it's a big upgrade. I really don't. No offense, Ron. So I'm going there. You trade right now, Ron, for me on this show right now. It ain't a big upgrade. It isn't. You know what I mean? If anything, it's probably a downgrade. Be honest with. Let's be honest, people. But I will say this. Andre Jackson at 36 to the Milwaukee Bucks after the NCAA tournament he had. He's got that winning caliber,
Yes. Yeah.
that championship chip. Now you're going to a team that recently in the last couple of years has won a chip. You can help them get back to that. I think that was a steal as well, because you can't discount the fact when people win championships, Kenny, what it means.
Yes.
So those were my four. Those were my four that kind of stood out. All right. I apologize for not. What is the kid's name again? Walsh.
Yes, Jordan Walsh.
Jordan Walsh. I will have to study him. And the next show we do, I'll let you know if I think he's a Grant Williams.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if that's a plus. I'm going to tell you right now. This guy's just like Grant Williams. I love it. Wait a minute.
But he's more athletic. He's more athletic.
Okay.
You know.
Listen. As you're saying it now in your head, you're like, wait a minute.
Exactly right. I'm like, wait a minute. What?
Kenny, we could probably jump higher than Grant Williams. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. He's more athletic.
That doesn't make this kid.
He's more athletic. Yeah.
We're more athletic than Grant Williams.
Yeah. He's way more athletic.
There it is. There it is.
He's way more athletic.
All right.
Tell you.
All right. All right. So let's talk some free agencies before we end our show tonight.
I don't know if this is better, but he's more of a Gerald Green.
Kenny, it's getting worse.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind.
Just stop. Stop throwing names out. Please.
Never mind.
Before you know it, I just like Brian Scalabrine. So like right there.
Right there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The Red Mamba, right? Red Mamba. What is he?
The Red Mamba.
Couple of free agents. We'll go down a few of them. I got a couple lists. I got a list here. You let me know where they're going, what you think are they staying, they going, if they should go, if they should stay, what would be the best move? James Harden, should he stay in Philadelphia? Should he go? Will he decide to go?
He's not going to stay in Philadelphia.
Ooh.
He's not going to stay in Philly. After the tough season they've had and they almost won, and he didn't show up, so he has to go to another team. He might go back to Houston.
Yeah,
but I don't know. But he doesn't stay in Philly.
Yeah, and I've heard that about Houston with him. Yeah. Like he'd be willing to go back, and maybe I don't know. I agree with you. Listen, this to me has all the makings of Damian Lillard to Philly. Like that would make sense to me. You partner him with Embiid. Now maybe it's a different change from Harden, a guy that is going to get 30 every night, regardless. He doesn't have off nights. It's very rare that Dame has an off night.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I would like that move, but anyway.
What do you do with Maxey though? Because Maxey's upcoming. He's real fast.
Yeah, it's a good call.
He can get to the basket.
Yeah, but Dame goes to shooting guard. Maybe you use Maxey at point. I don't know. I just think Dame. I think you need 2 stars in Philly. I don't think Maxey's there yet. I think Maxey's a good player, up and coming. To your point.
Yep.
I don't know if the fans in Philadelphia, and I heard they were a little rough. I mean, they throw batteries at Santa Claus. I mean, so who knows?
Exactly.
I would say they need to get a second star if Harden does walk. Like they need to get a guy. Otherwise, it could be in trouble. Kyrie Irving. Does he stay with the Dallas Mavericks? Does he go? Should he go? Should he stay? What do you think?
He needs to go.
Who's picking him up, though?
Nobody.
You think he's done? Like done in the league?
Yeah, he's done.
He's getting picked up.
Yeah,
He's too
he's done.
talented still.
He's done.
They don't care. People don't care. Listen, if they think he can still fill the bucket, he's gonna get a team. There's no way in my mind that I think he doesn't get a team. I think the bigger key is, does Dallas say, look, it just didn't work with him and Luka?
I tell you right now, if the Grizzlies never moved from Vancouver, he'd be in Vancouver.
Maybe that's where they're going to send him now. There's a team that doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
I don't know, though. I think he gets picked up. I just don't know where. I don't think he stays in Dallas. I don't think that it worked well in Dallas. It just wasn't a good fit.
No.
And I don't think anybody can talk them into saying, look, if you stick it out. But in all fairness, too, they were both hurt and they didn't get to play a lot of games together.
True.
Him and Luka. So maybe you can kind of sway it that way. Like think about it, guys. If we played 60 plus games together, what it could have been. We'll see. Fred VanVleet. He opted out now. So I guess Toronto wanted to keep him. Yeah. He opted out. Obviously, he thinks he's going to get paid. There's a bag somewhere in whatever city. What city is it, Kenny? Because he feels like he's got a bag somewhere. Is this the guy you'd want in Boston as a point guard? Look at that look.
I would love.
Yeah.
I would love Frederick. Let me put some respect on his name. I would love Frederick.
Excuse me, brother. I got you, Frederick VanVleet.
I would love. He's a great point guard. He knows how to control the ball. He can score. He can pass. The only thing is he's not coming to the Celtics. He's looking for money, and he should get paid. And Detroit is where he's going.
Oh, okay. All right. What about another former Detroit Piston? That's Jeremy Grant. Does he say in Portland? Are they gonna try to build around him and Scoot?
Yeah, they have to. They have to. They're gonna have to.
So he stays?
Yeah, he stays.
I think so too. I agree with you. I think he's a good fit in Portland too. You know what I mean? It's a good fit.
Real good fit, yeah.
Kyle Kuzma. Washington. Kuz. Here's a guy that, if you look at his career, he got drafted right by the Lakers, and he was kind of like that, kind of star in LA for a bit because they didn't have much.
Yeah.
And then LeBron gets there. And all of a sudden, it's like, this is the guy, this is the thing at the bottom of your shoe that you're just trying to pick off and throw away.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where he is. And I feel bad because I think he's a good player.
He's a great player.
Right? But why do you not hear his name being more talked about as a possible candidate to go here, there? It's like Kyle Kuzma. I didn't even know he was a free agent. Like, nobody's talking about this guy.
That's because he does the little stuff. He's not flashy. He doesn't score 50, 60, 70, 71 points. You know what I'm saying? But he just does the little things that make him good.
Yeah, nice player. Is he going to get paid, though? Do you think he gets one of those big contracts either?
No.
So it's going to be interesting. I think he stays in Washington. I think they can build around him. They've got pieces now that maybe, he decides, look, this is a good fit for me. Like, this might work. Here's a big one for you, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing? What's going to happen?
He's staying. He ain't go. You already heard Steve Kerr say, we're not a championship team without Draymond.
But new leadership there, new GM. Maybe, they say.
He ain't going nowhere.
No?
No.
Let me ask you this, because this is an interesting aspect to this, though. If Golden State decided they didn't want to re-sign him, does he... And I'm going to try to phrase this the correct way. Yes, he has value, but does the baggage outweigh the value?
Yeah.
So would a team be willing to pick him up?
Heck yeah.
Even with the baggage.
That'd
be the podcast that's not better than ours, but somehow we don't get as many views because we don't make millions of dollars and do certain things. We're just as good as Draymond. Watch us. But anyway.
True story. Mm-hmm.
How does a team react to that? It works with Golden State because they won championships. He goes to a team, let's just say
Lakers.
Sacramento,
Okay.
right?
Ooh,
Some team that
ooh,
hasn't won, a team that hasn't won,
Ooh, Sacramento.
right? But does that work in Sacramento without, because they're not a championship team? His mouth would get him in trouble. The podcast may get, be viewed differently because of the fact that, he's talking about things and the team's not winning. That's where I'm saying I don't know if he has a place in the NBA other than Golden State. That's talent-wise, yes, he can do a lot of things on a basketball court. But that baggage to me sometimes can ultimately hurt you, because if I'm a team, I'm shying away from it. The stuff that happened in Boston during the finals and what he was saying about the fans and some of the language and some of the things he did, would you want him in Boston? And would the fans be receptive to him in Boston because now he's wearing green? I don't think so. I think a lot of fans would remember that.
He is a voice in the locker room. And these young teams that haven't had a championship yet, are striving to get a championship, needs that voice. Okay? No matter what he says, he can go in the locker room and say, hey, let's do this, let's do that, don't give up, let's do this, let's do that. This is what happened when I did this situation and that situation. See, he is, what's the word I'm looking for? He is great because he has a voice in the locker room.
Okay.
And that's what Steve Kerr meant by him saying, without Draymond, we're not a championship team. Because he was the voice of those locker rooms.
Okay. Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree. I would wonder how it would play out. I would be curious. That's all. If I saw it, I'd be like, I don't know if a team, I think some teams would shy away, even though. But
you just got to watch what you say to him. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Punch in the mouth.
Yeah, right.
He ain't playing. You punch in the mouth.
I
don't care if you're on his team or not.
Yeah, right.
Punch in the mouth.
What you say about my mama?
Yeah, that's it. What about here at the Lakers? And he seemed to be a good fit when he came over. D'Angelo Russell seemed to work well when he got traded back to LA. It was a good fit. He kind of had a good playoff run as well. Do they try to re-sign him, or what are they doing to try to build around? Obviously, James, a lot older. Anthony Davis, who knows his health from day to day. Is D. Russ a guy they're going to keep?
No, he's not staying. He's not staying. They're not gonna keep him. They're not gonna keep him.
You gotta say he's probably the best player they had, for a good stretch there of the season once he got traded.
Yeah, they're gonna
keep. And they afford to get rid of him. Yeah, Austin Reeves was on there. I didn't put him on the list.
Yeah,
to me that kid's overrated. I am sorry. I'm saying it. I don't care. I've seen he's a good player. I don't think he doesn't make them a championship caliber team.
LeBron loves him, and that's all that matters.
LeBron probably has cataracts now at this point at his age, and you can't even see him.
So LeBron likes you, you got a job. Okay, if LeBron don't like you,
so that's my point, though. They're just building a team to keep LeBron happy. That's not going to help them win a championship either. But D. Russ gone, according to you.
Yep.
Last one I had on my list, Josh Hart in New York Knicks. Again, played well in the playoffs. Kind of fits well with that chemistry and that team and what they kind of do. He's not a bad player, though. But he's not a great player. He's a player that I'm sure most teams would want to have on your team, even if it's off the bench. Kind of reminds me of like a Brogdon, like for Boston. Like he's a guy that can come in and do some good things for you with your second unit. Does he stay in New York?
Yeah, he stays in New York.
Yeah,
yeah, they need him. They need him. They
your boy D. Rose didn't get re-upped.
Yeah,
is his career over?
Yeah,
think a team.
Yeah,
see, I'd like to see him in Boston just for a year with these young cats. Maybe off the bench, he can do some things. You never know. D. Rose, I would take a D. Rose. I mean, he's well past his prime at this point with all the injuries and everything else. But
well past.
I still think I don't know. So those were some of the free agents, Kenny, that I had on my list. Did you have anybody else?
Yeah, yeah. You forgot you didn't name the most important free
Oh,
agent out
I
there.
cannot wait. If you say Al Horford, I'm gonna hurt you right now. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
This is the man that should have came to the Celtics a long time ago.
Okay, so it's
Okay, all right.
okay.
You don't come in Massachusetts. Go to a Red Sox game, wear a Red Sox hat, enjoy the game, and say, "Nah, I'm not gonna sign here."
The suspense is killing me. Who is it?
Kevin Love, what is your problem?
Oh my god.
What is the problem, Kevin? You're supposed to be a Boston Celtic, okay?
Ugh.
What is the problem, Kevin?
Oh, I do not want to see that. You want Kevin Love in Boston? Okay. All right. All right. And we'll be doing this show next year complaining about how Boston didn't make the finals again because they're old and couldn't do anything. All right. Kenny, this has been Sports Unfolded 2023 NBA offseason report. We're going to do a couple of these during the offseason here as some moves happen. Obviously, we're free agency. I'm sure we'll be doing a show in the next couple of weeks just to kind of talk about some of the moves and what's happened. Obviously, you're my NBA insider doing a lot for us with the NBA rankings each and every week once the season starts. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure all the fans out there that tell me how crappy your rankings are. And yet we keep putting them out. You know why? Because we know we're right. We know we are right.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But I will say this, Kenny. I look forward to follow us, right?
Follow the button.
That's it. Push the button. Push the button. All right. You want applause?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wait a minute. What was that? Some people what? Oh no, you got boy.
Okay.
A little bit of that too, Kenny. A little bit of that.
Okay,
No,
right.
nothing but love for Kenny. We love the big dog.
And Kim love the kids.
Right?
I love the kids. I love the kids.
The kids love you too, my friend. Kids love you too. Not in the MJ Michael Jackson type, but not that kind of. No, there is no the ranch over there and
no.
We just got ourselves in trouble. I will say this, Kenny. I look forward to talking to you soon about some of these free agent moves. We will keep an eye on the Boston Celtics if they do anything else. That Paul George trade, if that happens, we will definitely make sure we do a show and talk about that as well.
Yep.
Kenny, I always appreciate everything you do for us here at Sports Unfolded. You're one of our biggest supporters when it comes to Friday nights as well. Tune in every Friday night, 6 p.m. on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. So many different ways to watch us, follow us. You've seen that ticker going on the bottom. You can follow us on all our social media platforms. We are over 800 followers combined for Sports Unfolded. So we're really excited to get to that 1,000 mark. We're getting closer and closer. I appreciate everybody that supported us and continue to support us. And we will be on Friday night, 6 p.m. live. So tune in, chime in. I want to thank Rick and Austin tonight for joining us live for our NBA show. You guys are amazing. That was so much fun. Kenny, we're going to get to do this again very soon, my friend.
Most definitely.
All right. And I will see you on Friday night. I'm sure you'll be chiming in. We'll have a lot more to talk about then as well. All we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Peace.